asking for directions. How do you feel about stopping and asking for directions? Now, I know that there are people out there that are going to say one of the failings of men is, and I hesitate because I know there's a lot of women on this call, and all of you at the same time just went, Steve, you mean just one of the failings of men? Because there's many. There's many. Which one are you going to talk about? Well, one of the failings of men is that they never stop and ask for directions. Guilty as charged. Guys, I think I talked about this before, but I have a hard time doing that, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I told you before that I will walk up and down every aisle in the grocery store to look for one item before I stop and ask anybody. I know GPS has changed a little bit in the way that we get directions. And so one of the failings of men is that they don't ask for directions. Well, I don't want to validate that, but I just told you I'm guilty of it. But I do think that we as entrepreneurs, we can learn from that, okay? Think about it. We ask for directions all the time. Whether we're asking somebody at a store, where something is, or Google. How many times a day do you guys use Google? I use Google every single day because I'm looking for direction. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. We look for directions to put furniture together, especially if you shop at IKEA. And those of you that have shopped at IKEA, congratulations. I bet you'll never do it again. All right. After putting all of that stuff together, oh my goodness. I don't mind their stuff, but boy, hire somebody to put it together for you. We read self-help books to find out how we can better ourselves. So in other words, there are directions everywhere in life, and we need them, okay? Now, I know, and this is the category that I fall into here. I know there is that sense of pride in being able to figure something out without directions, until you put that piece of furniture together and you stand it up and you realize that one piece is backwards. That one piece, and then you have to take literally the whole thing apart, right? There is satisfaction in doing it without directions, but we can't do everything by ourselves. Seriously, we can't do everything by ourselves. And I think I've told you guys this before, but when I was teaching, and if I ever get back in the classroom, which is going to be never, I wouldn't make my students do anything on their own. Not even taking tests. I wouldn't even have them do it on their own, because when in life do we ever have to do anything by ourselves? I mean, in life, I can't think of hardly anything that we have to do by ourselves. If we need help in something, we can always get it. We can always get help, right? Well, think about this. When you were growing up, how many of you learned how to tie your shoes without anyone giving you any type of instruction at all? Now, I'm going to guess that not many. I don't think very many kids just learn how to tie their shoes without somebody telling them, the bunny ear trick and all that kind of stuff. We learn through directions and advice other people give us. Okay, so with that being said, somebody needs to tell me, somebody needs to show me where the directions are for being a successful entrepreneur. Where is that instruction manual? Because I haven't found it yet. I honestly haven't found it. The truth is, there are no set of directions for becoming successful in our business. Everybody's path towards success is different. But there are ways for us to, gain some direction and gain some guidance so that our path is, maybe a little bit easier. So the bottom line is this. We're all looking for the directions to become successful. It's right. And seriously, if there was a manual for this, I don't know if the results would be any different. Because there's manuals all over the place for people to lose weight. And people have a hard time doing that. So it's a matter, okay, it's like, okay, the directions are there. You still have to take the action, right? But to become an entrepreneur, there really is no set directions. There really is no manual. So the bottom line is this. Don't be afraid to stop and ask for directions. And how do we do that as an entrepreneur? We find a coach or we find a mentor that you can follow, and that person can maybe lead you in the right direction. Now, this person can be somebody from your upline, from your cross line, or guys, it can be somebody who's not even in the business at all. Your mentor can be a friend, a family member who shows you maybe how to handle challenges and helps you through, personal development. Your mentor doesn't have to be anybody that you even know directly. Guys, one of my mentors, John Maxwell, he's been a mentor of mine for years. He was a mentor of mine for years before I even met him. I would read his books and I would listen to his training audios and things like that. And it was through those training, that training material, that I considered John to become one of my mentors. So maybe you're going to find your next mentor through books and training materials and things that you can, things that you're using to develop skills to try to get better. Well, wherever you find them, mentors and coaches can be maybe just the thing you need to reach that next level in your business and even in your life. Mentors have been where you are. Find people who have already traveled down the path that you're on right now. And, they've learned the very lessons that you need. And you're just looking for guidance. So while they can't tell you exactly what to do to reach success, they certainly can give you directions, at least to get you on the right path, right? You can't learn everything by yourself, okay? And, do you guys watch The Amazing Race? All right. The Amazing Race seems to be a very popular show in my family. Like, my kids all watch it and everybody talks about it. And so I was watching that one day and I thought to myself, and I even told Conley, and I said, we are never going on The Amazing Race, because I just don't stop and ask for directions. And the people that win that race are the ones who, you can't use your phones. You can't use your personal phone. But what you can do is you can walk up to somebody and say, hey, can I borrow your phone? Can you tell me where this, that, and the other thing is? And I've always had such a hard time doing that. And I'm like, why do you struggle doing that, Steve? Because people are willing to help. People are willing to help. And if you just ask for directions, there are people that are willing to help you. Okay? Maybe you need the wisdom and experience of those who came before you. And that's how people grow. How are you supposed to get from A to B if, unless you're a pioneer and you're blazing the trail yourself? Well, in our business, you don't have to be that person, because the trail has already been blazed. Maybe you just need a little bit of guidance to show you how to get from point A to point B. So I'm going to encourage you guys to find a mentor. Find somebody who knows your struggle and, have figured out the best strategies for you to overcome them. The bottom line is this: don't be afraid to ask for directions.